भावेहमः सर्वमिदं विभाति
भावेहमः सर्वमिदं विभाति
लयेऽहमो नैव विभाति किञ्चित्
नैव विभाति किञ्चित्
तस्मादहं रूपमिदं समस्तम्
तस्मादहं रूपमिदं समस्तम्
तन्मार्गणं सर्वजयाय मार्गः मार्गः भावेऽहमः सर्वमिदं विभाति लयेऽहमो नैव विभाति किञ्चित् मिदं समस्तं तन्मार्गणं सर्वजयाय मार्गः.
And following this, his analysis, so bhave, ahamaha. Ahamaha means the ego. Bhave means once the ego has arisen, once ahankara has arisen, sarvam idam vibhati, everything else comes in. So when first person is there, second person comes in, right? So once I am this as ahankara, I am this is a notion. That when I am this is the ahankara, when that get crystallized, automatically I am not that, and that is the world that I had to deal with. So automatically the world comes. So with the arise of I am as jiva, automatically jagat comes, and jagat comes, therefore Ishvara also comes in picture. So bhave ahamaha sarvam idam vibhati. Laye, when the ahankara goes, laya means dissolves temporarily, that is in the deep sleep state. Sarvamidam also goes. So when this is and that is, when this is not, that is. Therefore these two are related. That's all essentially. Implication is the world is only that I had to deal. So if you ask all the questions, see, what's the relevance of the world? The relevance of the world, and I had to do, I had not to do, I had to do, act this way. All those things come into picture only because I am a jiva, notion is there. If I understand I am not a jiva, I am substrating, this whole world also will not be like that. So the questions have to be, Bhagavan says, don't consent first. The problem is here because when I notion comes, automatically the world notion is also coming, because when you go to deep sleep state, when I am not, that notion is not there, even the world that there is world is also not there, and you can relate that these two are together coming and together going. So when the world I had to deal with, who is asking the question? The one, ahankara, is asking the question. So first ask the validity of the ahankara. What is the reality before I ask about the validity of the world that I am dealing with? Once I understand it, then it's essentially tanmarganam. This is inquiring into the nature of that ahankara is important. Says tasmad, from that aham rupam idam samastam is coming in, all the attributes of everything else comes because I have being attribute to myself as I am this. And when you inquire it, sarvam jayaya margam, that is, inquiry is most important inquiry of all the things in the world. So here is emphasizing the glorifying Atma Vichara is the best thing. And the question is this really difficult or is it easy? People ask questions, is this very simple or is it very difficult? If you ask me, is sitting down is easy or difficult? What will I say? It is difficult for me to sit down and get up. It's a big project for us. So it depends upon the adhikari, the qualities of the person who is. So if somebody asks, is Jnana Marga is simple or easy? He says, you don't answer the question because to whom? Depends upon the individual. If he has already prepared mind that he can contemplate on, then it is very easy to inquire. But if I cannot inquire and then say, oh, I can't, it's very difficult, then go to temple, puja, do all those things, that's important, until I ask the question, who is that God that I am doing prayer? That question starts only when I start inquiring, when I am ready to inquire and the mind is able to sit and contemplate, then this is that called karma yoga makes Jnana Yoga Yogyata. Yogyata means qualification to do Jnana Yoga. So Jnana Yoga is not for everybody. They cannot come and sit quietly and do that. You see, say that's why his temple is going, that is better. You don't need all this. These are too complicated. And the best thing is bhajan. All you do is sankirtan. In the Kali Yuga, all you have to do is sankirtan. You will realize. You will realize what? You will realize that you need to sit and meditate and attend classes later. Because realization is not, ignorance cannot go by the, I am this, I am, oh Lord, you are that, you are that. Ignorance will not go. Ignorance will go only finding out who is that I. Because as long as I is there, the world is there, Ishvara is there. All three come automatically. That's what Bhagavan is trying to emphasize. Unless you understand the bottom question is not understood, explained or analyzed clearly, the problem is not going to be solved. It only comes in a different way. That's all. So therefore, Tanmarganam. That Tanmarganam is inquiring into the nature of Atma Vichara. How? Using or attending Chinmaya Mission classes. Because how do I inquire? You need Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. There is no other way. There is no shortcut. So if not, Krishna will not spend 700 slokas to teach Arjuna if he is just touching and making the whole thing, everything is done. Hey, Arjuna, you are that. There is no point. End of the story. Tattvamasi. If Tattvamasi says, yeah, that is all. By mistake, I told my wife, when other persons are asking, I'm giving a class. My wife is not here, so I can tell all those things. I told because there are some dance teachers who are staying. This is what is the content of this? This is very, Brahmana Maharshi is very deep, but this condenses all that. And I said, what is deep? My wife is a Visishtadvaitin. She has respect for Chinmaya Mission, but is. She says, what is so deep about it? All is I am that, period, end of the story. And everything else is snake and rope. That snake must have been dead long time ago. You are pulling that snake all the time. Nothing more to understand. What is so deep about it? Say, that's true, you are right. But we still haven't understood. So is it sulabham? Is it difficult or easy? It depends upon the quality. So Arjuna himself asked this question in the 12th chapter. Kleshodikataram tesham avyakta saktachetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavat biravapyate. Those who are embodied, the one who is enclosed that I am the body. That's what embodied means. Locked in the body as I am. It is difficult for them to realize that I am not the body. Basically, I have to contemplate or something. For them, it is do puja and all that is important to evolve until I come to the 13th chapter where Jnana Yoga is taught. Okay? So it depends upon the quality of the student. So Tanmarganam, the sulabham or difficult part is only depending upon the qualification of the student. That's called adhikaram is important. Yes. Let's go to the next one.
Satya stitirnahamudeti yatra.
Satya stitirnahamudeti yatra.
Tacchodayastana gaveshanena.
Tacchodayastana
Shanena. Vinana nashyet yadi tanna nashyet. Swatmaikya rupa katamastu nishtha.
Swatmaikya rupa katamastu nishtha.
Satya stitirnahamudeti yatra. Tacchodayasthana gaveshanena. Vinana nashyet yadi tanna nashyet. Swatmaikya rupa katamastu nishtha.
So emphasizing in the glory of, or at least in the greatness of this Atma Vichara. So Satya Sthitihi Yatra Aham Na Udeti. This state where the reality state, where is the bottom line, where that I have to inquire, where this Aham is raising in the mind from the consciousness that I am, as though, and without that Chodayasthana Gaveshanena, that without inquiring into where this is coming from, that so the Chodaya means the inquiry of this, without that vina, nanasyed yadi tannanasyed tasmatmay rupam kadamastu nishta. If that's not inquired, it will not disappear. The ahankara is not going to disappear until I inquire where it is coming from, what is its originality, what is its source, and what its validity. When you try to inquire about it, it will disappear. Any other path will confirm the duality. All as people ask me, they say, this teacher tells me to do this teacher tells me to do this. You can do all that. If you are satisfied with it, no problem, we won't touch you. Only when you ask the question, why I had to do this, what is that I had to do, gain out of this? When you ask that question, only come to us. Then it says, you inquire what is the reality behind that, who is that I am doing these things. Because every other process that are doing, all bhakti, puja, all that confirm duality. I cannot pray unless God is there separate from you. So they are, in fact, you can do all those things only to prepare for this one. If you are ready for this, you don't need that. Follow when it is required. When I can contemplate on that, then that is already done its job. Then you have to go to the next level. No, I want to like that sin. Tathastu, keep doing it until you realize that this is important. So the question is essentially, if I don't inquire the reality behind that ahankara itself, all other pursuits confirm that ahankara only. Because you're only giving a validity to one who is trying to do all those things. And therefore, without that, there is no, what are you talking about, establishing firm abidance on this knowledge itself. That's not possible. So, important thing is first inquire, who is that I that is trying to inquire or trying to realize the reality itself. If this world is real, I am real, what is God real? Everything has to be analyzed by who? By I. And before all that, first inquire who is the asking question. Is it a validity for him itself to start? Then all things will merge into one. And that is what is the correct inquiry, basically. Yeah, go ahead.
कूपे यथा गाढजले तथान्तः
कूपे यथा गाढजले तथान्तः
निमज्य बुद्ध्या शितया नितान्तं निमज्य बुद्ध्या प्राणं च वाचं च नियम्य चिन्वन् विन्देत् निजाहं कृतिमूलरूपम्
So therefore, what should I do to inquire into this? Oh, you have to repeat all that, right? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm trying to finish this. Let's chant together. Kupe yatha gada jale tatantaha nimajja buddhya sitaya nitantam pranam cha vacham cha niyam yachinvan vindet nijaham kritimula rupam. It's a musical, that's why we, by at least singing, it rings in our mind, at least even after the class over, let it ring of the Saddarsanam. So here he gives an example here. It says, Kupe, says Gada Jale Kupe Nimajja. Says if something, in olden days they used to have a long, I remember in my hometown also, in Penukonda, in Rayalaseema, the water is so low that you have to go deeper and deeper. Water will not be there unless, and we used to do, there weren't any pipes and all those things. We used to do all those when we were child. So in our house, we have all the labor is already crystallized. You have to do this, other fellow has to do it, another fellow has to do, all these things are all pre-signed. So we remember all this water getting out and something goes down inside, somebody has to go inside the well and bring it out. So here is an example. I'm sure Bhagavan Ramana is familiar with it. Gada Jale, in the deep well, Kupe is well, Nimajja, which is completely immersed in that. And how do you get it out? You have to dive deep into it to bring it out. because it's not so obvious things. So in the same way, he's giving an example like that, you have to go dive deep in your own mind. So it is turning inwards, trying to find out who is that I. And here is the critical problem. Who is investigating? Ahankara is investigating. About whom? About Ahankara. So follow the problem here. Ahankara is trying to find out what is Ahankara. And therefore, this is a very subtle problem where the difficulty comes only, picture is, oh, Ahankara, I am this, I know now, from now on I am Brahman. Who says? Ahankara will say. So, the subtle inquiry comes in trying to discriminate this Ahankara itself. Who is that I that says who is I? Also is another problem. So for that I had to really, that's where Vedanta has to come into picture. Vedanta has come into picture in two ways. This is where some of the Ramana Maharshi's, the disciples go wrong. He says this is a direct path. There is no direct path, there is only one path. That is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. There is no other paths. All direct paths are only confused paths. Why? Because I have not understood correctly. If I understand correctly, these are the two things that need to be done. If I understand clearly, then it's simple. One is, first find out who is that I by rejecting what I am not. Who is that? Ahankara is only doing because there is no other instrument I have. Okay? It's a mind only has to inquire into this, that who is that I? So essentially I am splitting Ahankara into two parts and trying to require one part in inquiring other. In that I am dismantling what I am not to establish what I am. I cannot say what I am directly because that is Satchidananda Swarupam. I cannot say, any words cannot say, any concepts cannot say, any ideas cannot be said. But yet it is a thought itself, a different thought redirecting to myself towards the mind. Says, what is that reflecting consciousness in me because of which I am conscious of myself as I am? Not I am this. That is diving into that mind. That is one part of it. That I can do because I am a subject and this is an object. I can sit down, anybody can do this. This I don't need a Vedanta for it. Frankly, I don't need a Vedanta. Then where Vedanta comes as a pramana is, what is that I am recognizing as has to be understood. I am the same as this also that I am rejecting. You follow? When I say I am and this, I become a duality only. I am that is not this and this is that not I am. Follow the statement? I am not this when I say there is this that I am not and there is one that I am. Therefore there is a duality that is established in the very process of rejecting that I am not this. But Vedanta comes into picture that this that you are rejecting is supported by the same Satchidananda Swarupam, and what you are rejecting is only superficial, mithya only, that is not real, that you are not, because it is not really real. So what is rejection is unreal, you are rejecting as unreal. For that you need a Vedanta. Why it is mithya? Then you have to say there is only Brahman. Brahman is conscious existence. Everything, therefore, there cannot be anything other than Brahman. If there is anything other than Brahman, is only the creation which is only mithya on the top of this. So all that Vedanta has to provide as I dive deep into it to recognize I am the existent consciousness. Also, I am the one, what I am rejecting also, my glory only. You follow now the total involved? So there are two aspects. So this error of involves in the Brahmanishta, there are two things also that come into picture. Just because a lot of questions come only because in this understanding of what exactly I am doing here in the seat of meditation is one, to recognize that I am Brahman. That means I am the totality. And the second error is there is nothing other than me also, because then there is no more for me to recognize that I am Brahman also. That means there is nothing else to do anymore beyond that. Because if I am Brahman, someone went to Swamiji and says, I know Swamiji, I have been attending your lectures all the time. I know I am Brahman. But how come I am suffering? That means he doesn't know that he is Brahman. Because Brahman cannot suffer. By definition, Brahman means his infiniteness. How can suffering come? Suffering is other than Brahman. Brahman means itself is Ananda Swarupam. So that understanding is not clear what exactly Brahman means. That comes only, even that also is Aman, but that's only Mithya. So Mithyatva Nischaya Jnanam is part of realization. Nischaya means even the world that I am seeing is only an apparent, and there is nothing apparent problem as long as I understand it's only an apparent and not real. So that also has to be part of understanding who that I am is. I am not only the conscious existent entity, also I am the adhara or the support for all the world itself too, as idam. So there is nothing wrong with the idam. Understand the basis of it. Idam becomes a glory then. Then only the idam becomes a glory. So here, diving deep is essentially vindate, you will win. Win is vindate, in English word maybe Telugu. So vindate, aham kriti moolam. Once you understand the moolam, the very source from which this ahankara is rising, if I understand it, that is my real swarupam, not other things that I am taking as a superimpositions. Once I understand it, that is deep. How do I do it? And here the Bhagavan gives you three things. One is pranancha, vachancha, niyamya, pranayamam, and watch, control your speech. And chinvan means prana and all that. These two are prerequisite. That means niyama, yama, all those things are implications here, where I control my sense organs, as vacha is for both jnanendriyas and karmendriyas as a representative, and pranas of physiological functions. The whole mind doesn't run away. That means I am controlling. When I am controlling, the mind is coming to me. Also, with the pranayama, I am controlling the mind in the seat of meditation, and then do something else. Not that's the end of it. That is so that the mind is ready to do something else. And that is chinvan. Chinvan means vicharanam. That means inquiry of who is that. How do I do inquiry? Bhagavan doesn't say here. That's what Vedanta has to become. How I do inquiry? By understanding what's the reality and what is the nature of the reality and what is that mithya means, why it is temporary is mithya. All that Vedantic knowledge has to come in there in terms of inquiry. So that is the essence of trying to find out what is the reality that I am. Okay, next.
Maunena majjan manasa swamula.
Maunena majjan manasa swamula.
Charchaiva satyatma vicharanam syat. Satyatma vicharanam syat. Eshohame tanna mama swarupam. Iti prama satya vicharanangam.
Satya vicharanangam.
Maunena majjan manasa swamula. Charchaiva satyatma vicharanam syat. Eshohame tanna mama swarupam. Iti prama satya vicharanangam.
Maunena majja. Here he is giving additional inquiry how to do it. Maunena majjan. Majja means diving into the silence. So how do I dive into silence? Silence from everything else outside. The mind is not going out all over. So withdrawing the mind from all other pursuits that mind wants to run. That means when you are sitting, that's why I said when you are walking, where the mind is running into the past. Where? Into the past experiences about the world only. And or into the future about the world only. World means other than you, all those things in relation to you. Because without relations, there is no mind. Because me and the world, relationships, that's what vichara, that's what the mind runs into, attachments means. And maunena majjan, so diving into this silence, maunena, manasa, swamule charcha, by using that mind, by withdrawing the mind from outside and contemplating redirecting the mind into vichara, into the inquiry about who is that I, where is that Atma, where is that the ahankara coming from, and so on. Satyatma vichara syat eshu aham etanna mamaswarupam iti prama satya vicharanangam. So that inquiry says, where is that ahankara coming up? Inquiring about the nature by withdrawing my mind from all other pursuits and contemplating on it. That's why we need to initially sit down and inquire, because we cannot stand and inquire, we cannot run and inquire. Anything that we do seriously, we say, let's sit down and discuss. That's how we say, right? Why we should have to sit down? That means where we are able to contemplate something on this rather than anything else. That's the idea. So the same way I sit down and inquire, what is that? But means I'm withdrawing my mind, all other pursuits, and contemplating on this. Initially that has to be done. And therefore it is vicharana angam. Angam means that is the first step. So the other steps are involved. So first step to do is first sit down at one place, calm and quiet. That's all the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita it starts, right? Where you have a quiet place, calm place, a clean, neat place, where all those things are paraphernalia. Is it required? It is helpful. Helpful in the sense, if everything is clean, mind also starts becoming clean. If you take bath, physically clean, the mind also becomes fresh. When do you have to do it? If it's so tired and all that, and after all the office work and everything, now you want to sit down, I am sure you'll go to sleep in no time. So when the mind is fresh, ready to inquire, that is the time. Oh, I don't have time. Then do all it. So how long I had to do? I'm very busy man. If you're not busy, you want only half an hour. If you are too busy, then 1 hour. Because you are busy with what? About other things only. So you have to withdraw a lot more. That means at least initially I had to train my mind to contemplate on it until that you start enjoying it. You are not dragging the mind. And that's why initially you put the music, you put all the Bhagavad, all those things are helpful to prepare the mind. Once they start becoming obstruction, stop it. Not that you have to do all those. That's only to help you to go to next level. Then when you go to next level, other levels is not needed. So don't hang on to the, second grade is over, third grade you go. I like my second grade teacher. Doesn't mean that I should sit in second grade only. I have to go to third grade, fourth grade. I have to evolve myself in the process. So here, Bhagavan says this is vicharana angam. It's only the first step where I dive deeply by controlling my mind, by controlling all my organs of action. Vacha means speech. So even all those shrutis, all those things that you are chanting, all those things are okay. But don't spend like time, that's all my life. No, that's not the end of, that's only beginning. Don't spend all the time, I am doing every day this namarchana, this archana, all those things are important to purify the mind so that you can go to the next level. So that once you say, how do I know when do I have to go? You go there, if you find you cannot, and then go back. Until you can sit comfortably in the position. So that's the only pramana. If you do that, then you can evolve. So here, in all these slokas, you see Swami, the Bhagavan is telling us to go step by step to vichara level, where you have to inquire, where you have to do this. Not just say, who am I? No, you need to do the process, are all required in order for doing that contemplation. Okay.
Gaveshanat prapya hridantaram tat.
Gaveshanat prapya hridantaram tat.
Padedahanta paribhugna shirsha.
Paribhugna paribhugna shirsha.
Atahamanyat spurati prakrishtam.
Athakamanyas puradi prakrishtam.
Naham kritihi tatparameva purnam.
Naham
kritihi tatparameva purnam.
Gaveshanat prapya hridantaram tat. Patedahanta paribhugna shirsha. Atahamanyas puradi prakrishtam. Naham pratistat parameva purnam. So this inquiry Gaveshana. Gaveshana means also inquiry. Vicharanat, Gaveshanat. This is how? Using the Shastra and the teacher, because that's how the inquiry has to be. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya requirement. And Aham Ahanta Patet. Pateta, Ahanta, Aham Tapatet. So it's Paribhugna Sisha. Here, a dramatization here a little bit. Says, this ahankara is going to fall down. And how does it fall down? It falls down with the head down. If you fall down with the legs down, you may survive. But if the head is down and you are falling downwards, there is a down that when you fall down, the head is going to shatter. So here is a pictorial picture. This is Paribhugna Sirsha. Sirsha head is upside down, you are falling down. How? The ahankara is going to fall down when you try to inquire. So that means, I am, what is the false will fall down. False is the ahankara, because it's false. That's why it's fall down. When I inquire into it, otherwise it will not fall. It will survive. In fact, it will become more and more. Remember all the letters that I add behind my name. B-A, C-A, M-A, D-A, all those things. It keeps on growing only unless I turn inwards and try to inquire what's all these letters mean. Basically, what does it mean? What is that ahankara really means? And atha, after, when it falls down, then what happens? So, okay, ahankara falls down. Then what happens? Who asks that what happens? Ahankara will ask, right? But here Bhagavan is saying, says, Spurati, anyat aham, there is another aham comes up. See, we have one problem with one guy and another fellow is coming. Who is this guy? So anyat means another person. And spurati, it's coming in the mind, of the memory. Prakrishtam, this prakarshena krishna means that's vividly coming, clearly is coming. Until then it was coming, but not clearly. It was not evident because our attention is somewhere else. Even other time also it was coming, but we are not paying attention to that. And here it says, this aham kruti, so this is not the other type of aham kruti. Aham kruti is ahankaram. It is not of that type of ego, which is think I am limited, this, the desha kala vastu parichinnam is there, where I am located in this space, in this time. That kind of ahankara is not that time. This is what? This is a different type of aham, I am. Aham means I am. What is this? This is param eva, parameva purnam. It is supreme. There is nothing beyond it. Supreme means there is nothing you can think of or anything that is beyond. That is paramam, purnam, satsvarupam. That is what it is. That is I am. That comes as spontaneously. Spurati means spontaneously coming in the mind itself. That means I am constantly conscious of that I am in spite of anything else. So what is self-realization? People asking says how, because we cannot test anybody else to whether they have realized or not. We can know whether we are realized or not. So I told last time itself, don't go and keep testing anybody. He realized or he had not realized. There was a story, I think, in Gujarat, I'm not sure. There was one great bhakta. And he had the notion that he was a great bhakta. He was a great bhakta, and he was thinking that he was a great bhakta also. So another great bhakta came and says, I'm going to test all the bhaktas. He announced in there how great bhaktas they are. So there was a big assembly, and they applauded him also, because they know that he is a great bhakta, right? Because everybody knows, and he knows, and everybody else knows that he is a great bhakta. So he was going and knocking on everybody's head on top of it. No, this is not bhakta. This is not his litmus test. So he went to this great bhakta and says, no bhakta. So this fellow got annoyed. And everybody was ridiculing him because they have respect for him. Whatever he is making judgment, he is respecting. And everybody thought this man is great Bhakta, and this fellow comes and rocks in his head and with the sutti or whatever they tap, that neurologists use, rubber, who knows. So putting on the head and said, this is not a Bhakta. So he went to God and says, what is this? What kind of insult you have given to me? And says, go to that temple, there is one Mahatma, he will teach you what the problem is. So he went all the way walking to that Mahatma, looking for where that Mahatma is. Because he knows that he is a great Bhakta, right? And this Mahatma is lying down on the floor with his legs on Shivalinga. He's already Mahatma. My God, this fellow is Mahatma. He's putting legs on that Shivalinga. What kind of... And God has sent me to him. So he was very angry. He says, forget about all these things. First, I can't tolerate this. So he's trying to wake him up. He says, who are you? What is this? Why are you waking me up? You are putting these legs on the Lord. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm too old. Can you please lift my legs and put somewhere else? Can you help me? Okay. So he tries to put somewhere else. There lies the Shivalinga. My God, he put somewhere else. Another Shivalinga is coming. Then that man laughed. Sir, you are asking me where I am putting legs on the Lord. There is no Lord. If I have no one Lord is somewhere, then I can put somewhere else. But if the Lord is where can I put feet other than on him only? That was the lesson he needed. That Lord is everywhere, not in the temple. Bhakti is not just in the temple. You have to see the Lord everywhere. That understanding that everyone is the Lord expression only. If I understand it, then the end of Saddarshana class also. But Gaveshana is Inveshana. Says one try to inquire this, and this ahankara will fall down. When it falls down, not that it is the end of the story, the real I will come up at that time, and that real I that is a Purnam, it is Satswarupam, and there is nothing beyond it. He will know. The one where that I know I am, that consciousness existence, he will understand who he is. Others only know he is a great Mahatma or he is not great Mahatma. Others will only give qualifications based on their knowledge only. But he himself knows the reality. Okay, go.
Aham kritim yo lasati grasitva. Aham kritim yo lasati kim tasya karyam parishishtamasti.
Kim tasya karyam parishishtamasti.
Kinchit vijanati sanatmanonyat. Kinchit vijanati sanat. Tasya stitim bhavaitum kshamakkaha. Stitim bhavaitum kshamakkaha. Aham kritim yo lasati grasitva. Kim tasya karyam parishishtamasti. Kinchit vijanati sanatmanonyat. Tasya stitim bhavaitum kshamakkaha.
And here, so what is that person? Remember the Arjuna asks, says, the Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha, what does language he talks? It's not means what's the behavior? Says prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyeva atmana tushtaha saha sthita prajnaha. It's the one who is reveling in himself, but prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. All desires are gone, because desire is only, I want this only because I want this only because that gives me happiness. But he is already full with the happiness, there is nothing else, then what does he want? There is nothing that he needs, there is nothing that he needs to do also, because every action is motivated by, I want this only. Pravritti and nivritti both. So once I am established fully in that knowledge, this ahankara, this ego has gone completely by vichara. That which is already swallowed, this ahankara is swallowed by that I am, the total, which is I am as the existent consciousness that I am. For him, what is there to do in this world? Because the mission accomplished. The very purpose of life has been done, because all of the doing is only to reach this stage. But all other is to get happiness, right? All I want is happiness. But he's already happy. So one fellow sitting under a tree, a fisherman was sitting there under a tree and taking a dozing off. And says, one fellow says, hey, get up, what are you doing here? Says, why? What is the problem? Go and fish. Says, what for? So that you can catch fish. So what for? So that you can sell. So what for? So you'll make a lot more money. What for? Then you can relax and take rest. That's what I'm doing right now. Why I have to do all that for? I'm already doing that without all those drama. So all the pursuits in life is trying to get happiness only for myself. But if I am already happy as I am, Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha, the one who is completely full with himself as I am, there is nothing for me to need because I am already full. There is nothing for me. You can add not anymore because I am infinite. Infinite, you cannot add to anything into it. That's what is infinite is. So if I am already that, what is there for me to do anything? How can I do anything I want? Therefore, there is nothing that he needs to do. So there is no kim asi. There is nothing that he needs to do. Kim tasyastim bhavayatam shamaha. So there is no also what is the state of mind that I can find out. No one can tell anything about him. No one can say, this is how Mahatma going to behave, or this is not what Mahatma is going to behave. You cannot give him any prescriptions and rules and regulations, or none of them is valid, because he is beyond all those rules and regulations. Not even Dharma, not even Vedas can dictate what he should do and he should not do. He does only for Loka Kalyanam. For the benefit of the society, whatever he does, it will be beneficial to the society only. But so tasya kim karyam, what is there for him to do in anything in this world? And no one can describe what his state also. That's why yogaratova, bhogaratova, sangaratova, sangavihina, yasya brahmani ramati chittam, nandati cheva. So the Bhajagovindam says, he can behave like a child, he can behave like a madman. Even everybody is sleeping, he will be awake. All sorts of things, descriptions are given. But means when everybody is awake of all other world, he doesn't see all that. But he will follow. The equipments are already conditioned in the sadhana. During the time of sadhana, the body, mind and intellect are already disciplined, right? So whatever discipline means, what dharmam, all those things are already established, because he cannot be a dharmic. Therefore, what happens to them? What is the knowledge? I am Brahman, right? Realization is, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. So from that now, who is he? Brahman. No more he is the individuals. So when the actions are done, who is acting now? Brahman is acting with the local equipments. Okay? So local equipments are available. Therefore that's why Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, he is an embodiment here in the form here available, where he is Brahman himself here in expressing in this form. That's why the Guru teacher is. And that recognition comes once I recognize that he is a realized person. And I already told, no one should question anybody, is he realized or not. So someone went to Swami Teja Mahanji and asked him, Swamiji, have you ever met in your life any realized person? So what did Swamiji say? This man already concluded that I have not realized. First thing, whether I met another person or not, he already concluded that I am not realized. That kind of questions cannot be answered. So if suppose somebody answers, yes, I am, suppose somebody asks me, have you realized, what should I answer? If I say, yes, I am realized, are you going to believe it? Oh, I don't believe you. Then why are you asking? If it depends upon your belief whether what I say is real or not, again depends upon your belief only, right? Because there is no way I can prove, yes, I can do lift up and go in the sky by flying. If that is realization, then I am not realized. If that is what your measurement of realization is. So there is no way, even if a realized person, one asks, has he realized, he cannot answer that question because the question itself is invalid. First, you should not go and ask. The second question is, if he answers, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to say, you are lying? Then why are you asking him? If he says, I have realized, you have a problem. If he says, not realized, also you have a problem. If you are not realized, yes, now you are very honest because you say you are not realized. I'm not going to test anything. So most of the Mahatmas never declare, I am realized. Okay? This is fact. Why? What is that I have realized? Because I am only I am. What is there to realize? Nobody will say I was a fool. Should I say? I was a fool before. No, I don't need to say because this depends upon other people's mental attitude. So the best thing is, when you go to a Mahatma, assume he has realized. Irrespective of whether he realized or not, is your not question. If you gain some knowledge out of it, take it. If you don't think you are gaining out of it, just leave that place. So satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatattvam, nischalatatve jivan muktaha. This satsang will help you to evolve. Not for judging others. So in that, if you are getting help in quietening your mind, that is what you need, that's all. Thank you and tell him thank you and get blessings and leave. Because everybody is avatara only. I told you, everybody is avatara only, Lord's grace only in that form. And if you can tap that energy, that's good. If you are not able to tap, just leave it to him. That is the best approach for sadhaka. And every sadhaka has to realize that his teacher is realized. Whether teacher is realized or not. Then only I have a faith in the words of the teacher. That's very important for all of us because otherwise we will be testing this teacher is realized or not. Because we don't have any litmus test for those things. So that's for him who has realized all actions that can manifest from him is not self-centered but centered for the benefit of the society. That's one sign. Whatever he does is for the benefit of the society. Doesn't mean that he will be eating, sleeping and all that. That is not necessarily benefit directly, but it's indirectly benefit because by keeping his body alive, it's going to help more the society also in that sense. Okay, let's go.
Ahasputam tattvamasiti vedaha ahasputam tatapyasam prapya paratmanishtham bhuyo vicharo mati durbalatvam tat sarvada swatmataya hi bhati ahasputam tattvamasiti vedaha tatapyasam prapya paratmanishtham bhuyo vicharo mati durbalatvam tat sarvada swatmataya hi bhati.
So aha, sputam. So vedaha tattvamasi iti. Tattvamasi statement came in Chandogya Upanishad. Remember we took that sadvidya. So vedaha tattvamasi iti sputam aha. It clearly tells you, you are that. So remember that the etadaicha idagam sarvam tat satyam sa atma sa vigneyu. No, is that what? Idagam sarvam Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi Svetaketu. So the statement actually is Idagam Sarvam, this entire universe also, that in fact is more important in that. It says this Idagam Sarvam, Idagam means Idam Sarvam, this entire universe is the essence of that. Atma is Satyam, the essence of it, existence is the essence, because that's the Sadeva Saumya Idamagramasid. The existence of the entire universe that you see, Sarvam, Sarvam means this, including everything. The existence is the bottom line. No, that is the reality, and that reality is you. Tattvamasi. Remember that Tattvamasi, before Tattvamasi there is a line which is more important also. So that what it says is essentially the entire universe that you are experiencing, this entire Sarvam that includes Idam, every Idam including, the essence of all Idam is Sat Swarupam only. That is Saddarshanam. And that is you. Which is you? That all the essence of the entire universe that includes as this body, BMI, all that is part of the universe only. And essence of that is you, Tattvamasi. So that aha, Sputam aha, is clearly described very clearly in the scriptures. Tathapi Samprapya Paramatmanishtam Puyo Vicharha Mati Durlavattam. Even though it says directly, it's not very clear to me as I am, because I know it says that, but still I'm not able to understand or realize the truth, even though statement is so evident. You are that, it's directly saying. So that's why, so what is Advaita Vedanta? There is nothing, Tattvamasi, end of the class. If that is the end of the class, then everybody realizes. But say, how can I be that? No, it means I am not that. Obviously, it is not realization, has not come in. Therefore, next chapter we go. So we only change the title of the camp. Remember, today Sadvidya, next way Saddarshanam. So title of the camp is changed, but the essence is the same in that. And that's what essentially problem is. It's a mati durlabhatvam. This is because of the weakness of the mind. Weakness of means mind getting attached to idam as a reality itself. That is for that you continue bhuyo vicharaha. Therefore, this is continue this inquiry until this is realized what exactly my nature of me I am, ahankara, what exactly that involves that aham. Until that, even though statement is very clear, as the Vedanta tells you, you are that, but that is not assimilated, or that is not fully Durdhaiva Nishta, Brahmanishta is not firmly abiding in that knowledge. Therefore, bhuyo vicharha. Continue inquire some more. Until, how long I had to inquire? How long I had to study the scriptures? How long I had to do all this? Until that how long question goes away. When will it go away? When aham spuroti. This is the spontaneously it rises. Yes, now I understand. Not that I understand as this, but I understand what it is as I am. So one of the Kenopanishad statements. When the man realizes, he screams out, I understood. Then suddenly he said, I shouldn't say like that, because when I say understood, he thinks again I understood as an object, because I always understand as this. No, it's not that I understand it. Then he says, it's not that I know, it's not that also. I really understand. So this wabbling, remember I told you electric yoga comes requiring knowledge of what it is. You scream out all sorts of things because you don't know how to express that. You are in that state of mind where the words fail. Words cannot express, because the words itself are limited and mind cannot go there. Words cannot. Yato vachu nivartante aprapya manasasaha. The words cannot go, the things cannot be. What else can be done? I am, period. There is nothing more to it. Srunvanta visve amrutasya putraha ayodhamani divyani santi. Vedahametam amrutam prastad adityavarnam tamasah prastad. Says that, right? Says, hey, now I have realized. Says, Veda means I know. Aham Veda, I realize. What is that? Says, what is that? It is so brilliant. I cannot say anything. It's Aditya Varnam. It's like the brilliant sun is coming all over, because brilliant means it's the knowledge itself, bright. But not only I, you can realize too. Srunvantu, listen to me. Amrutasya putraha, you are sons of immortality, same immortality. You are also, this birthright, you can also realize it. Ayodhamani Divyanta, he is daring to declare even to gods also. You gods also realize, you don't know this. You realize this also. This is the highest knowledge. This is the highest, greatest thing in the world. By how? Looking and inquiring by knowledge only. And here he is glorifying here. Even though it is sick, you have to continue analysis of this. That's the only thing is Nididhyasanam. There are only three. Listening to the scriptures, contemplating, reflecting on it, and contemplating on it. Nididhyasanam. What exactly Nididhyasanam? Nididhya means constantly reveling in the thought until it sinks in. How do I do it? In whatever form. Whether you can teach, or whether you can write, or whether you can think of, you can talk, catch hold of anybody, give him lecture. Next time he may not invite you for dinner or parties. It doesn't matter. They stopped inviting us for parties, because every time we go to parties, somehow Vedanta discussion goes into Vedanta, whether they like it or not. So they immediately go away from me. So you won't have to invite for people. People stop. It's okay. That is part of your. Other people who are interested will come to you. So that is the only way of the Vedanta Vichara is only thing. Where are we now? 30? Not bad. Where?
It's 34.
34. Let's do one more. Let's see what this is. Go ahead.
न वेद्म्यहं मामुत वेद्म्यहं माम्
न वेद्यमं मामुत वेद्यमं माम्
इति प्रवादो मनुजस्य हास्यः
इति प्रवादो मनुजस्य हास्यः
दृग्दृश्यवेदात् किमयं द्वितात्मा
दृग्दृश्य विदात्मा
स्वात्मैकतायां हि धियां न भेदाः हि धियां न भेदाः
न वेद्म्यहं
माम् इति प्रवादो मनुजस्य हास्यः दृग्दृश्यभेदात् किमयं स्वात्मैकतायां हि धियां न भेदाः.
I do not know. Naved miham. Say, I do not know, or I know myself. I know mom. Mom means myself. I know, or I do not know. All these things is essentially here. Both are statements don't mean anything. Do I know myself? If you go and ask everybody else, they'll say, yeah, I know myself. And they give you whole history of what themselves are, what that they know. But if you say, that's not yourself, what do you mean I know? That's all myself. There's nothing else other than myself. Or if you go to Vedanta side, do I know myself? Oh, I don't know myself. I'm still trying to realize. What? That I am. Say, you are already existing in a conscious entity. What is there to realize? That's what I have to realize. That I am existing and I am conscious. No one has to realize that I am existing and I am conscious. So this viditam va avitam va, I know this or I don't know this, all that informative knowledge is only. Drik drishyam, I am a seer and this is a seen. I am a knower and this is a known. All those dualities are coming in because of the fundamental problem of not knowing the basis for both of them. So I know this, I don't know this. Remember, I think we analyzed this in some form. It says, do you know Ashoka? It says, yeah, I know Ashoka because we're all learned in the Indian chemistry, Indian history. We know Ashoka. Really? Do you know Ashoka? Yes. How do you know Ashoka? What do you mean, how do you know? I know. That means I know Ashoka. Some information, I know. I know that I know. Do you know Gaga Bubu? What is Gagabu? I don't know what is Gagabu. By now you may know Gagabu, but anyway, I don't know Gagabu. Say, I don't know Gagabu, but I know that I don't know Gagabu. So both are known. I know this and I don't know this. Both are known only if you look at fundamentally. But I am neither a knower or non-knower. I am neither of this knowledge or not ignorance also. I am that because of which I know what I know what I don't know. But I am neither of any of these two. The dvandvas of the two, the knower-known duality is rising in my mind. I am the very substantive, the existence in which both of them are there. The subject and the object, the duality itself. The bottom line is, I am the subject as well as the object also. So we went through all the epistemological analysis. Where is that object? What is the object really means? How do I know the object exists? It is nothing but the vritti. Vritti is supported by the existence of that other than the attributes superimposed, right? All that comes behind in that analysis only. So if I understand what really this really means, that is, so Atma Ekada, no subject-object distinctions are there in me. As I am the very bottom of both of them, the substantive of existence, the seer exists and the seen exists. Both are in my mind only. Splitting the knower-known duality in the mind only, not outside the mind. But the one that is knows that I am a knower, and the one that is known also in the knowledge also coming from the reflection of the consciousness, and that consciousness that I am, that existence that I am, and that is Swatmaikata, that ekatvam, that is oneness, all this vividha, the dhyadhatma, these two aspects of duality goes away. Once I recognize that I am the substantive of both of seer-seen duality itself. And that is the Atmajnanam. With this, we'll stop here.